This is Sridhar from wpdevdesign.com. In this screencast, I want to show you how we can set up a off-canvas side menu in Oxygen. Here is a demo page that I've set up to see how this works. Clicking on the hamburger menu icon is going to slide open the side menu from left to right, and it can be closed by clicking on the X here. Okay, so I have already written a tutorial on how to do this with the steps. So let's get started. Okay, what first I'm going to do is create a duplicate of the home page that I could use to preview what we are building. So I have duplicate post plugin installed and activated. So I'm just going to click on new draft under home, and I will call this something like say off canvas demo page. Okay, I'm going to delete the slug and hit return so it gets auto generated by WordPress. Okay, and I'm gonna hit publish. Okay, so let's go to Oxygen templates, and I'm going to create a brand new template and call this off canvas menu. Okay, and I do not want to inherit anything from any other template. And I'm also not going to apply this to any views in WordPress because I want to apply this just to a single page for now, since this is a test site. But ideally, you might want to just do this process in the main template. Okay, I'm gonna hit update and edit this with Oxygen. All right, so let's, what's the first step? The first step is to create a structure like this. We need to have the side menu at the top level and a panel. Both these are div elements and they sit next to each other, and at the same level is a code block. So I'm going to bring up the structure interface, go to add a new div, and I'm going to rename this div by clicking on this hamburger here and clicking rename. So let's call this side menu. Okay, so inside that I need to have one more div. So I'm gonna hit add div and expand this, change the name of this inner to side menu inner div. Okay, so inside the side menu inner wrap, let me just change this to wrap. It doesn't really matter, just for easily identifying this element. So inside this div is where we need to place all the content of the side menu. Okay, so let me just add a heading, and I'm going to call this navigation, and You might want to set a width to the side menu, otherwise it's going to just appear 100% wide. So let's say we set this to 300 pixels. Okay, now I'm going to select the heading element and change the font size so it's not so big. Okay, and also for the side menu, we can set a background color so we can easily see it. So I'm gonna set something like black. Okay, and when we do this, we also need to set the color of the text to something lighter. So I'm gonna go to typography and set the color to white. Okay, and okay, let's give some padding to the side menu inner wrap element. So I'm gonna go to advanced, go to size and spacing, and then for the padding at the top and bottom, let's say 30, left and right 20. Okay, and I'm gonna add a menu element. It doesn't really matter what appears inside. It's basically entirely up to your site. For this tutorial though, I'm just going to go to WordPress and hit menu, and that puts the menu which is horizontal, so I'm going to make it vertical. And I do not want these drop downs, so I'll go to drop downs and disable them. And I do not want the background color when we hover, so I'm going to go back to all styles and hover and active and delete the background color and the border at the top. And I'll set the hover text color to white. Okay, and I'm going to go back to the side menu and change the color of text to light gray instead of white, so that the text will be light gray, whereas the menu items, I actually want these things to be white. Okay, and when I hover, I want these to be, uh, let's say, EE. I'm not sure how that looks, but you can always go and change it to how you want. Okay, so we have the heading, we have the menu. Let me just add a text element, and I'm going to increase the spacing, move it down a bit. And next, I'm going to add some social icons by going to helpers and clicking on social icons. Okay, I'm going to set these to be circle and for them to use the brand colors and reduce the size a bit to say 40 and increase the space a bit like that, and add some margin above the social icons so they don't appear so close to the text element. Okay, so I have almost designed my side menu. The only thing that we need to do is to add a close icon here. So I'm going to go back to add basics icon, and in font awesome the close icon is not really something that I like because it is kind of fat. I wanted something more trim, so we can get that inside linear icons, and if you do a search for close it's not going to come up. uh, Here it is, cross. Okay, so I've got the cross icon here. I'm going to change the color to say DDD, reduce the font size a bit. Okay, and we want to move this to the top right. Okay, before we do that, we need to basically make this a link because we want the hand cursor to appear when somebody puts their mouse on this icon on desktops. So I'm going to click on this link icon and just set the link to a hash, like a placeholder. Okay. And this link wrapper, I'm going to move this to the top right by going to advanced layout. And we will set this to be absolutely positioned at top right. So at the top, let's say I want it to be 15 pixels from the top, and I want this 15 pixels from the right edge. But as you can see, it's moving all the way to the right. So we need to basically set this inner wraps position to relative. So the X icon is relative to that element. So I'm selecting the side menu inner wrap, going to advanced, going to layout, and set the position to relative. Okay, so let me save this. All right, I just want to quickly scan through the steps that I wrote and make sure that I have not missed anything. Okay, this is the part I missed. So for the navigation menu, um, if you go to mobile responsive, it's going to basically become or collapse into a hamburger at smaller widths, and we don't want that. So I'm going to select this to set this to never. So the mobile menu should never appear for this menu. Okay. All right, let's move on to the structure. And next we're going to create, what we're going to do is create a panel div. So I'm going to select the body element, add a div, set the name to panel. Inside that I have my header, inner content, and the footer. So I'm just going to go to the library, go to atomic, go to sections and elements and headers, and I'm going to add that header. Okay, so if you notice, it's not basically taking the full width. It's just stopping here. So let's select the panel element, and for the horizontal item alignment, we'll set it to stretch. So that stretches this 100% of the width. Okay, next I'm going to add a inner content element, and yeah, it's currently showing the home page, but let me just preview the off canvas demo page. It's still the same content because it's just a duplicate page. Okay, and below the inner content, I would like to add a footer. Let's say I add that footer. Okay. And since I already have my navigation in the side menu, I do not want that to appear in my header. So I'm going to delete that particular element. Okay. So what we'll do next is to replace the social icons with the hamburger menu. So I'm going to select that, hit delete, and go back to the basics and add a icon. Okay, I'm going to set this to menu. Nope, nope. Let me just go to linear icons and select for menu. Okay, I'd like to add that. Let's change the color to white and decrease the size a bit. Okay, and let's wrap this thing in a hyperlink. So I'm going to click on that and enter hash, add the link. Okay, let's save it. Okay, so I'm done with step one. Let's take a look at step two. Okay, so we need to basically load a slider.min.js file in the footer of your site. And one way that this can be done is by using a custom functionality plugin. I have provided a link here. You can click on that and set it up. I already have it installed in the site. So let me just show it to you. So you can see I have my custom functionality plugin installed. And to make changes to the PHP code in this plugin, you go to editor. You can also do this through FTP and you select the plugin from here. And then you can see plugin.php is the main file. And you need to add that line. So you could yeah, so this is the plugin directory, and inside this is the plugins directory. Inside that is an assets. Inside that is a JS directory, and this is where you place the JavaScript file. So in this case, I have it here, slider.min.js. After that, we use the wp-enqueue script function to load it in the footer. Okay, so step A is done. Let's go to B. One thing that we forgot to do is to set up this code block element. So in the template, with the body element selected, I'm going to add a code block element. And that puts this hello world here, which is annoying. So let's first comment it out. So that removes that. Okay. So in the CSS panel of the code block element, we need to add that CSS. So with the code block element, I'm going to go back to CSS and paste that CSS. And in the JavaScript panel, we need to add this code. So I'm going to go back to all styles, JavaScript. So what we are doing here is basically declaring a constant variable called slide out. And we are specifying that the panel is this particular div and the menu is this particular div. And the padding is 300 is what you want the side menu width to be. So if you want to increase the width of your side menu, this is where you change it. I'm not sure what tolerance is. You can go through the link that I provided in my article for the configuration options and have a read over there. And if you want, we can also specify that the side menu appears from the right of the screen rather than left of the screen, which is the default. Okay, so let me just collapse. Oh, before I do that, you see these errors, unquote syntax error, you can just ignore them. So just collapse and save it. Okay, so for the hamburger icons link wrapper, we need to add this JS. So the hamburger is in the header. So I select that and make sure that I am currently selected, I've selected the link wrapper. So go to advanced, JavaScript, and paste. Okay, let's see what this code does. So what we are saying is, so this entire thing is basically a placeholder or a dynamic variable that refers to the ID of the current element. So we're saying that when this hamburger menu icon is clicked, okay, then e.prevent default. What this will do is it will basically stop the default behavior of the link, which is to add the hash in the browser address bar, and then slide out. So if the slide out is closed, it's going to open up. If it is already open, it is going to be closed. And the way that JavaScript works in Oxygen is that every time you make some changes in here in this code editor, it is going to add this several times in the backend. So to prevent that, we need to basically disable that at the front, at the beginning. Okay, let's collapse it. And for the close menu icons link wrapper, we need to add this JS. So the close menu icon is here. And again, make sure that you are in the link wrapper for that item and in the advanced JavaScript and paste. Okay, collapse and save. Okay, that should be it. So let's go back to the admin. And I'm going to go back 2 pages. Go to the off canvas demo page. And well, nothing is happening because, or nothing is appearing because this page is not using the template that we have just created. So I'm going to edit this page and select my off canvas menu template and update. Reload the page. And this is not supposed to happen. Okay, I know why. I have not included a few steps in this tutorial by mistake. So I'm going to correct that. But what needs to happen is that in the template, so let me just edit the template. We need to set side hyphen menu class to the side menu and panel class to the panel. Okay, so Okay, so I have selected the inner wrap. So let me just go one level up, and I'm on the side menu. I'm going to give it a class called side-menu. And for the panel, let me just go to the structure. So for the panel, I'm going to give a class of panel. Okay, save it. Let's view the page. Okay, so let's take a look. You click on the hamburger, you can see that it slides open. You can hit the X, it goes away. The reason why the close menu icon is not appearing is because of the admin bar. So let me just get rid of the admin bar. Okay, so you hit the hamburger icon, the menu opens up, it shows the side menu that we have designed in Oxygen. You hit X, it gets closed. Okay, that's it. It's also possible to have a background layer on top of this page on the panel when it opens up, and that when you hit anywhere here, the menu gets closed. You can find the code for that over here. You might want to follow that if that's what you want to do. Okay, that's it, and hope you like this tutorial. Bye.